Hello everyone, thank you for visiting my channel. This is Joe here. I wanted to come and create this video today based on a video I had uploaded on YouTube yesterday and shared across social media. After looking through Getter, I found on my feed there from Stu Peters, and he stated environmental scientists headed to Ohio for the cleanup die in a plane crash in Little Rock, Arkansas. I had jumped to a conclusion that he meant I assume maybe he meant the explosion, like the train derailment, and then the explosion, the controlled combustion of the vinyl chloride chemicals and other toxic solvents in East Palestine. But it was brought to my attention by one of my commentators, someone who commented on YouTube, that it was actually about East Oakwood, a factory explosion in East Oakwood that happened, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. I'm going to show you here. So as we can see here, it's a fire in East Oakwood, and it wasn't related to East Palestine. She mentioned that they're both about 80 miles apart, but it does seem suspicious to me that it can't. Is it a coincidence? A plane just crashed with 5 I think there was 1 or 2 environmentalists and scientists on board and part of this consulting firm, and the explosion. Unfortunately, there was a man who passed away there who died in the explosion. It was about 3 days ago, it seems. Now, I had mistaken, and I jumped to the conclusion it was East Palestine. Now, of course, that was a fault on my behalf. So I want to apologize. I pulled down the video, and it's already on private. I will delete it shortly, but I'll re-upload something similar. But anyways, I had a mistake. It was my mistake on my part. I jumped to a conclusion, although it does state in the news anchors did state it was East Oakwood, Ohio, and not East Palestine, Ohio. And I wasn't aware that there was another chemical factory explosion nearby, 8 miles away from that site. So it does seem very suspicious to me, as we know that there's a major sequence of events happening across the U.S. with explosions in factories and in chemical factories. There's one in Kissimmee, Florida, and now this one, and then the train derailment. And we saw major incompetence and negligence, I would say, from the EPA by calling residents to come back and go back to their homes and everything is safe. When animals and livestock are getting ill, when you can clearly see from the creeks and the ravines, there's chemicals lurking in the sediment, and on which level it has to be, I don't know, the tests, how have they been done to practically light on fire, I would say, millions of liters of this vinyl chloride and other chemicals, releasing dioxins to the atmosphere, releasing other toxic, noxious chemicals that can reside in wildlife and marine life for years to come. And people are drinking from this water. Bottled water companies take their source from this water. The animal life take their source of life from this water, and it's just terrible that this. You have Joe Biden flying to Ukraine to meet his friend Zelensky, his buddy, their best pals, and give him a nice reward, a donation of billions of dollars of American taxpayer money. Where are they getting this money from? They're not getting it from the taxpayer. So does it make sense? Wouldn't you allot at least a sum of this money to relief aid to this catastrophe? You're like, why are U.S. citizens being treated as second-class citizens to the world? Why are the U.S. politicians U.S. politicians, the mainly Democrats, are bashing their own people. They're bashing their own citizens, shaming their own, making people feel as if they are second class in their own country. It's disgusting to me. But again, came quickly to make this video and apologize that I'd come to a conclusion, jumped to a conclusion. But it does seem to me, is it a coincidence, or is it an actual, that a plane just, it could be a coincidence. We don't know. Like, you can be suspicious about anything, right? But when you start seeing events happening over and over, a series of sequential events that are similar in nature, and it seems like, we're trying to get to the bottom of this, like, how dangerous is this environment now, or how an explosion happened, what was the reasons, and then you have environmentalists or scientists dying in a plane crash. Very similar to, when I saw that, when I read this headline, it reminded me of the Ukraine plane crash back in 2020, in January 2020, coming from that was shot down from Iran. Many of those on board were scientists. Okay, many of them were researchers in Canada. I believe at Western and University of Toronto, there was one or two. Many of them were PhD, postdoctorate fellows, professors in different areas, including virology. You can look that up and check. So I find those kind of events, when things need to be clarified to the public or revealed, sometimes just accidents happen, or people just suddenly are found mysteriously, quote unquote, suicided. I find that very, disturbing. I think everyone should find that disturbing, that there's it seems to me, a blatant effort to destroy natural resources, to ruin people's health and lives by these kind of catastrophes, controlled combustion, and you have thousands of residents in the nearby location. Did not anyone think that these fumes are going to come back onto the ground and into the water? I find that very not only disturbing, but shocking to me, that people in these agencies would be okay to watch, take orders, like you're a little part of some sort of totalitarian, dictatorship, that you just follow orders without any resistance, without even opening your mouth, without even saying okay, or saying, listen, like, we're gonna rain toxic. These fumes are going to dissolve in the rain, and it's going to come down on the residents. So you have thousands and thousands of people that are going to be rained on for days in and days out with these chemicals, and no one is talking. And it's people, if you're in that situation, imagine, like, if you're in that situation, you're living in this place, like in East Palestine or any location that had this kind of environmental catastrophe, right? So imagine you're there, and it's easy to say, okay, I will move. But some people, they can't afford to move. Some people, that's their livelihood is there. They have businesses that are there. Their work is there. Their school. They can't just pack up and go. So they'll say, okay, I'll wing it, and I'll just bear with it. But this is not something that you can bear with when you have chemicals that potentially, with the high probability, will be lurking in your water stream for a very long time, will be lurking in your marine life, and even in your own fatty tissue, because our skin is the largest organ. So if your largest organ now is absorbing, it's breathing all of these kind of toxins in and out of our skin to our bodies, you're going to be in that environment for many years, and without the proper remediation processes, that could take many years to actually be, even if they're following very strict protocols and sediment remediation. And I don't think there's anything much they do with air, other than, if you plant more trees to be able to absorb some of these toxins from the soil, to it's going to take a long process. But who gave that green light to burn these chemicals in this large quantity. And here we're being taxed for, we're about to be taxed by globalist climate alarmists for eating 1 gram of beef, or taking a shower for longer than usual, or even just going out and using your vehicle. So I find this very disturbing, very frustrating, and I think many, many Americans and Canadians around the world, people are just fed up. This is the assault, indirect assault on our liberties and dignity. Like, who gave this decision? Why weren't the people actually living there given a choice to at least know what's going on here? And then they call them back, say it's safe. Come back, it's safe. No, it's not safe. It is not safe when you're dealing with chemicals on this level. Imagine right now if I asked you, take a cup of dichloromethane, or take a cup of chloroform, a cup, like 250 mils, and close your office or your room, and keep that cup there in the open. And tell me after 5 minutes if that is not going to be causing irritation in your chest. You're going to have maybe dizziness, maybe even maybe partial blindness if it's a large enough quantity. But you have issues with mobility. You may even go unconscious. So if you're talking about 250 mils, imagine you're dealing with millions of liters of this. Of course, yeah, it's a larger environment, but you're dealing with much larger quantities going in and residing, and talking about chronic toxicity that's going to affect all kinds of marine life, all kinds of animals in that environment. Anyways, it's disaster and it's happened, but there has to be accountability. I just feel the last 3 years, since 2020, but mainly, of course, there was many issues before, but since the pandemic, it's like people in authority, there's no accountability. They're just making these decisions, irrational decisions, never consulting the public, taking full charge in just the position of power that they're in, and they're not being held accountable. I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense in a functioning society. Like right now, if I in my home and I make a decision, if that decision is gonna affect me, my family, and everyone around me in the house, and it's a wrong decision, it's a hurtful decision, for example, or it's causing, it's a mistake. Am I gonna be just not held accountable? Just keep going on the flow? Doesn't make sense. It's like these people are gambling with the lives of the American people and not being held accountable. It's not enough just to talk to people, bring them up in subpoenas and show them on television, just ask them hard questions, try to show what, just as almost to rile up the public that something's gonna happen, then nothing ends up happening. You make it seem that you're gonna prosecute or take these people to court or to hold them accountable, but nothing really ends up happening. I don't know. That's not a part of a functioning society. That will not create a functioning society. That's a route to hell. You're gonna live in a hell of a time when you have this kind of treatment. This kind of treatment of the common man, the common woman, the common working class, with it's like someone just steamrolling and just keeps going, hit and run, just keep going, keep doing the same thing, and no one's being held accountable. This is a major environmental disaster. Where's Greta Thunderbird? Where's Al Gore? Where's Davos? All those people that were climate alarmists in Davos, these are paid actors, in my opinion, paid actors just to create a false narrative. So where are these people? Why didn't they come to Ohio, to East Palestine? Who came? Donald Trump came. And just recently he sent aid, lots of food and water to help the residents in East Palestine. It's an absolute disgrace. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, Independent. When you have catastrophes like this, you have to be joined together as one, unified. This is a natural disaster. This is a environmental disaster that they created. The negligence created. You saw the railroad tracks. They're cracked. They're in terrible condition. But you're sending $50 billion to Ukraine. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for for watching this video. And again, I apologize. There was a little mistake there. You know, I was confused maybe, or I didn't know about the explosion that was 80 miles away, also in Ohio, in East Oakwood. Anyways, take good care and God bless.